Have you ever wondered why it's so incredibly hard to start a new good habit, but just ridiculously easy to slip back into the old ones? Well, it turns out the reason isn't about willpower, it's all about science. And in this explainer, we're going to break down that science so you can finally build habits that actually stick.
Okay, so get ready for this. A massive 40% of everything you do, every single day, isn't a conscious choice. Nope, it's a habit. It's your brain running on autopilot. That means almost half your day is being driven by routines that are already hardwired into you.
So if half our life is basically automated, the big question is, who's writing the code, right? How do we get in there and take control of that programming to build better habits, the ones we actually want? The good news is, it's a system, and you can absolutely learn it.
All right, first things first. We need to decode something called the habit loop. You can think of it as your brain's simple core operating system for every single habit you have, good or bad.
Now, this idea was really brought to life by the author Charles Duhigg, and it's shockingly simple. The habit loop is just a 3-part cycle in your brain that runs on its own. If you can master this loop, you hold the key to both breaking bad habits and creating fantastic new ones.
Let's break it down. Step 1 is the cue. That's the trigger, the thing that tells your brain, hey, it's time to run this program. Step 2 is the routine. That's the action you take, whether it's physical, mental, or emotional. And finally, step 3 is the reward. That's the payoff, the little treat that tells your brain, yeah, that was good. Let's remember this loop for later. So cue, routine, reward. That's the whole game.
So you might be asking, why are these loops so powerful? Well, every time you complete one, you're actually strengthening connections in a part of your brain called the basal ganglia. Just think of it as your brain's command center for autopilot. And with every repetition, that behavior gets more automatic, more effortless, and way, way harder to change. Your brain is literally rewiring itself to be more efficient.
Okay, so we get how habits form. But the next huge question is, how long does it take? So let's jump into our 66-day Mythbuster and figure out how long this really takes.
You've probably heard the popular myth, right? It takes 21 days to form a new habit. Well, a major 2009 study completely blew that idea out of the water. The reality is, it can take anywhere from 18 days all the way up to 254 days. That's almost a year. So the most important thing here is, do not get discouraged if things don't click in 3 weeks.
So what's a better number to have in your head? The average from that study was 66 days. Think about that, over 2 months. Let that be your guidepost. It just goes to show this isn't about how fast you can do it. It's all about consistency. Patience and persistence, those are your real secret weapon. All right, enough theory. Let's get practical. It's time to open up the Habit Creation Toolkit. We've got 4 evidence-based strategies that are going to set you up for success.
These 4 keys really work together like a system. We're going to show you why you need to start so small it feels almost silly, how to use triggers you already have, the powerful psychological trick of tracking your progress, and finally, how to make any new habit feel rewarding enough to want to do it again.
The first strategy is, without a doubt, the most important one. Start ridiculously small. I mean it. Trying to go from couch to a 1-hour gym session every day is just setting yourself up to fail. As the quote says, small steps reduce resistance and build momentum. You want to read more? Start with 1 single page. You want to meditate? Just do it for 1 minute.
Next up, you have to be smart about your cues. Don't just rely on raw willpower. That's a battery that runs out. Instead, leverage the triggers you already have. This is a technique called habit stacking. You literally stack your new habit on top of an old one. For example, after I brush my teeth, I will meditate for 1 minute. See? The old habit, brushing your teeth, becomes the automatic trigger for the new one.
To keep that fire going, you have to make your progress visible. Just putting a big X on a calendar every day you succeed, or using a simple app, creates a visual chain of your effort. And a 2015 study confirmed it. This simple act of monitoring your behavior significantly boosts your chances of success. And why does it work? Because once you see a chain of 5, 10, 20 X's in a row, you will not want to be the one to break it.
And finally, you gotta close that loop. The reward can't be some distant, abstract goal like, I'll be healthier in 6 months. No, it has to be immediate. So find a way to make the routine itself enjoyable. Maybe you only let yourself listen to your favorite podcast while you're on your daily walk. That immediate positive reinforcement is what tells your brain, hey, that was pretty good. Let's definitely do that again tomorrow.
Okay, you've got the toolkit. Now let's talk about how to avoid the common habit traps. Knowing what these pitfalls are ahead of time is your best defense against them, and it's going to keep your progress from getting derailed. We all tend to fall into 3 main traps. First, overambition. We try to change everything all at once. The solution? Focus on one single habit. Just one. Master it, and then you can add another. The second trap is inconsistency. You miss a day? It happens. Don't quit. Just do a tiny 2-minute version of your habit. The golden rule here is never miss twice. And finally, impatience. When you feel that frustration creeping in, just remember that 66-day average. You're playing the long game here.
When you really stop and think about it, the person you want to become, they aren't created in one big heroic moment. No, your future self is built quietly in the tiny, consistent choices you make every single day. Your whole future is being constructed, one small habit at a time. So the only question left is, what's your first step going to be?